Hello everyone, this is MB Big Boy 123 and you are watching the first episode of FUT Finds. In FUT Finds we will go to the transfer market, the third page to be exact, and pick the first 3 players from different countries and leagues and build a squad out of them. And by doing this we should hopefully find some very interesting players and hopefully some hidden gems. As you guys can see, the 3 players we have selected today are Duvan Zapata, Kevin Mbabu, and Jonathan Rodriguez, so let's go ahead and get them into a squad. Alright, so I went ahead and built the squad. Obviously, since I had to use 2 strikers, I picked a 2-striker formation that also has a fullback, and as you can see, I went with the 4-1-2-1-2 wide. And we have kind of a theme working here. We have the rare golds on the right side of the team and the non-rare golds on the left side of the team. This is completely unplanned, but every player is on full chemistry, so that's good. Let's take a look at the squad I threw together. So up top we got Jonathan Rodriguez and Duvan Zapata, 2 of our 3 picks. Behind them we have Nahitan Nandez, who can bring in that Serie A link along with the Uruguayan link. On the left we have Roberto Alvarado. On the right we have Hans Hadebauer. Behind them we have Kevin Strootman. In defense we had Jesus Duenas at left back. Left center back was Jeffrey Gawilawilawoo. I've got no clue how to pronounce his name, so we'll just call him Jeffrey. Right center back, Manuel Akanji. Right back, Kevin Mbabu, the 3rd of our 3 picks. And in goal, we have Rafael Gikowicz. I don't know how to pronounce that either. If anyone knows how to pronounce these names I don't know how to pronounce, feel free to comment to correct me. I'm going to hop into 5 division rivals games, and let's see how the team performs. First, I'm going to go through the players individually and give a little rundown on how they played. So starting off with Duvan Zapata. He played pretty well. Being the highest rated player in my squad, I thought he'd be the top scorer, but he kind of played second fiddle to Jonathan Rodriguez up top, and that might be a pace thing. But over 5 games, he scored 4 goals, had 2 assists, had a decent conversion rate, had the second highest average match rating. He had great hold-up play. He had a great left foot as well. He scored a game winner for me in the 85th minute in a high scoring game. And he was a good passer too, so overall he played really well. So let's talk about the main man in the squad, Jonathan Rodriguez. This guy was awesome. He had an average match rating of 9.0, which was the best in the team. He had 4 man of the matches, even in the game we lost. He got one. He also scored 7 goals, had the best conversion rate of 41.2%. And he was doing everything on the pitch. He passed very well, he dribbled amazing, he even put in a few tackles for me. And as far as his goals went, he scored all different kinds of ways. He scored chips, he scored with his left foot, with his right foot, long shots. He only had 1 assist, but he was definitely the top man in the squad. There's one way to describe Nandez, and it's a workhorse. On offense, he was up with the strikers. On defense, he was sitting behind my CDM Strootman. He scored 2 goals. He had 3 assists. He was great at laying the ball off to his teammates. That's how he got most of his assists. He had the highest passing completion percentage for a midfielder. Nandez was putting in tackles all over the pitch, and he was a thorn in the side of my opponent every game. Roberto Alvarado, so he was a decent left mid. He had a decent average match rating at 7.52. He scored a couple goals, had a couple of assists. He was a decent crosser of the ball, a good dribbler. His passing was not very good. He had the worst pass completion on the team, but he was good at getting into the box. He scored a back post header. He had an assist from a cross. He wasn't very good defensively. He had a very low tackles won percentage, which left Duenas pretty exposed in the back to pace, but overall he was alright. Moving on to Hans Hadebauer, he was a very good player. He scored 1 goal, which was a good rebound goal where he was in the right place at the right time. He had the most assists on the team, but honestly, even though he did have decent offensive stats, I didn't feel like I saw him that much on offense. Where I really noticed him was defensively. He was the complete opposite of Alvarado. He had the best tackles won percentage for midfielders, and he was always getting back and helping out the defense, which wasn't really necessary since he had a very pacey player like Kevin Mbabu behind him. Kevin Strootman, so he was an okay player. Obviously his 50 pace meant a lot of the pacey players were getting behind them and our defense had to deal with them. But he had a good pass completion percentage. He got an assist on a through ball. He also had a lot of hockey assists where that means he passed it to the player who got the assist. And he also put in a lot of good tackles. So overall he did decently. It's just that 50 pace really hurt him.
Jesus Duenas. So he was by far the worst in the squad. He had the lowest average match rating. He had the worst tackles won percentage in defense and the second worst in the whole team. He only put in 0.4 tackles a game. He was constantly getting rinsed for pace out on the left side by the likes of Adama Traore because 4 of the teams I've played had him. The couple of redeeming qualities he had was he was pretty strong when I was able to get a tackle in with him, and he was also a somewhat good passer. Jeffrey G, let's call him that. He was decent. He had the highest passing completion percentage in the team, the second highest tackles won percentage. He put in the most tackles per game. Anytime that somebody slipped past Duenas, he always seemed to be there to clean it up. I don't know if this guy is due for an upgrade or a downgrade in FIFA 22, but I would highly recommend looking into him for your starting off cheap budget squads. Moving on to Manuel Akanji. He was also a very solid center back. He had the highest average match rating out of defenders, the second highest pass completion in the whole team, a solid tackles won percentage, and a decent amount of tackles per game. And I felt like Jeffrey G was the better center back, but Akanji had better pace for keeping up with the fast players I was up against. Everyone knows Kevin Mbabu since he was in all the starting off Bundesliga sweat squads, but I think a lot of people were afraid of him because they were attacking my left side for the most part of the games. Kevin Mbabu did not have the best match rating. He had a pretty low pass completion percentage, but he did have the highest tackles won percentage in the whole team. And as you can imagine, that was a result of his pace and being able to track back on people running fast down the wing. And last but not least, I'm just going to say Rafael. He was a decent goalkeeper. He made 2 penalty saves. He was 2 for 2 on penalties. He also had a pretty decent pass completion percentage. He had 4.6 saves per game, which wasn't too bad. And overall, he did get quite a bit of action because there was not a lot of pace in my defense. But he did pretty well. Most of the goals he conceded were goals that any keeper would have conceded.
So here are a few of the squads I had to play against, and as you can see, there was a very big talent difference between other squads and my squad.
Overall, this was a pretty fun team to use. It was a little bit frustrating defensively, but offensively, I really enjoyed it. I went 3 wins and 2 losses with them. I scored an average of 3.2 goals per game and conceded an average of 2.6 goals per game. My favorite player in the squad was Jonathan Rodriguez. I gave him the gold medal. The workhorse Nandez was my silver medalist, and the bronze medalist was Jeffrey G. These were my top 3 players in the squad, and I recommend you guys try them out. Thank you guys for watching the first episode of FUT Finds. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to see more and like this video. Also comment if there's anything you want me to change or add to the series. But anyways, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.